Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're dissecting one of the most thrilling and honestly tactically chaotic matchups of the 2019 Women's World Cup. I mean, when Norway and Australia clashed in the round of 16, it wasn't just your standard game of soccer. We're talking about a high-stakes, absolute tactical chess match played on a total knife edge. We're going to break down exactly how this grueling, super physical contest unfolded. We'll look at the sudden structural shifts, the desperate backs-against-the-wall defensive stands, and those flashes of pure individual brilliance that completely defined this clash. Heartbreak for Australia, but Norway are into the last 8. Man, that was the definitive call that echoed out after 120 minutes of absolutely draining, relentless football. Before we jump into the tactical X's and O's on the pitch, I really want you to just hold on to the immense emotional weight of that statement. We are looking at a match where both sides literally threw absolutely everything they had at each other, leaving zero in the tank. But how on earth did we arrive at that final, heartbreaking conclusion? Okay, let's dive into this timeline, which outlines the dramatic conflict arc we are about to break down. See, this wasn't some slow, methodical feeling out process. It was punctuated by massive, game-altering moments right from the jump. We've got Norway striking first in the 31st minute, Australia mounting this desperate comeback in the dying minutes of regulation, a catastrophic red card in extra time, and then finally the ultimate pressure cooker, a penalty shootout. So consider this the roadmap for our tactical journey today. Phase 1. A fast and furious start. So, starting with the opening 45 minutes, right from the referee's opening whistle, the pace was just frantic. Completely end-to-end. There was zero feeling out period here at all. And you've got to remember the sheer elite pedigree anchoring both of these sides. You had Norway's captain, Maren Mjelde, making her massive 140th international appearance, matching up against the Australian superstar herself, Sam Kerr, who came in boasting 81 caps and a staggering 36 goals. And honestly, Kerr almost added to that tally instantly. Literally inside the opening 30 seconds, she found space and fired a great chance just wide. By the 3rd minute, Norway's Vilde Boe Risa responds with a long-range effort of her own. Both sides were firing off these early warning shots right out of the gate. But despite Australia's early pressure, Norway's disciplined counterattack proved to be absolutely lethal. In the 31st minute, a defense-splitting ball played perfectly in behind the Australian backline unlocked the entire game. Isabel Herlovsen found herself totally one-on-one with the Australian goalkeeper, Lydia Williams. And Herlovsen didn't even blink. She took the chance brilliantly, slipping the ball right past Williams to give Norway that 1-0 lead. It was just a massive testament to Norway's ruthless efficiency in the final third. But you know, the first half wasn't without its massive controversies either. Just as Norway was really settling into their lead, disaster nearly struck. A cross came whipping into the Norwegian box, and Maria Thorisdottir dipped into it. Initially, the ref blows the whistle for a penalty, suspecting a handball. You can imagine the tension in the stadium at that moment. However, after a super tense VAR review, the referee actually overturned her own decision, judging that the ball struck Thorisdottir's shoulder, not her arm. Thorisdottir narrowly escapes disaster, and Norway's crucial momentum is kept alive heading into the locker room. Phase 2, Australia forces an equalizer. Trailing by a goal and staring down elimination, Australia knew they had to ramp up the pressure in the second half. Just think about this number, 10. That is the number of shots Australia took as they literally camped out in Norway's territory. But the absolutely crucial context here is that out of those 10 shots, only 2 were actually on target prior to the final moments of regulation. It perfectly illustrates Australia's massive struggle to break down Norway's incredibly disciplined low-block defensive structure. Sure, Australia had the possession and the territory, but Norway was brilliant at forcing them into really difficult, low-percentage shots. But hey, relentless pressure usually yields something, right? Even if it comes in the most unconventional way imaginable. Usually, you want a teammate to head it in. Kellyn-Knight decided to just cut out the middleman. In the 83rd minute, Elise Kellyn-Knight steps up to take a corner for Australia. She drives it hard into the near post, and it bypasses everyone, teammates and defenders alike, and curls directly into the net. A stunning, direct from a corner kick goal. Just like that, Australia had finally breached the Norwegian defense, equalizing the game 1-1 with just 7 minutes left on the clock. And this brilliantly illustrates just how wildly unpredictable this game was. Right after Australia equalized, the momentum violently swings back to Norway in stoppage time. Caroline Graham Hansen, who was an absolute menace all night long, found space and unleashed a massive shot. The Australian keeper, Lydia Williams, was completely beaten. The ball smashes off the inside of the post,
agonizingly bounces all the way across the goal line, and somehow, miraculously, stays out. It was quite literally a game of mere inches, sending us straight to extra time.
Phase 3, the red card changes everything. Moving into extra time, the physical toll on these players was becoming incredibly apparent. Legs were heavy, spaces were opening up everywhere, and the tension was just palpable. And then came the pivotal tactical moment of the entire match. In the 104th minute, Norway's Lisa Marie Carlsen Gutland was chasing down a ball, threatening to break clear on goal. Australia's Alana Kennedy, in a moment of pure exhaustion-fueled desperation, got tangled up and hauled her down. The referee didn't even hesitate. She went straight to her back pocket and showed Kennedy a straight red card. Boom. Suddenly, Australia is reduced to 10 women with over 15 minutes of grueling extra time still left to play.
So the crucial point is how this single moment completely rewrote the tactical playbooks for both managers on the fly. Norway, now holding a numerical advantage, immediately sought to exploit the extra space. They pressed high and filtered almost all of their offense through the wildly dangerous Graham Hansen. Australia, conversely, had no choice but to survive. They dropped deep into a defensive shell, quickly reorganized their depleted backline, and they knew for sure they would have to rely heavily on their goalkeeper Lydia Williams to keep them in the tournament.
Phase 4, the war of attrition. The final 15 minutes of extra time can only be described as a brutal war of attrition. Norway was throwing absolutely everything they had at a deeply entrenched, exhausted Australian defense. The goal-mouth scrambles during this period were breathtaking. Vilde Bo Risa launches a dipping shot that completely catches Lydia Williams off her line, but it smashes against the crossbar, the second time Norway had the woodwork. Graham Hansen keeps bearing down on goal, forcing Williams into multiple spectacular diving saves. Williams was putting on a heroic, single-handed goalkeeping display to keep Australia's tournament hopes alive amid absolute chaos in the penalty area.
Phase 5, the decisive penalty shootout.
After 120 minutes of grueling football, just imagine the sheer physical and mental exhaustion of stepping up for a penalty. It all comes down to a dead ball from 12 yards out. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the immediate contrast in execution under pressure. Just look at the first round. Caroline Graham Hansen steps up for Norway and coolly sends the keeper the wrong way. Then, Australia's talisman Sam Kerr steps up and shockingly blasts it wide. Not even close. The pressure of the occasion really seemed to get to her. From there, Norway was clinically perfect. Milde scores, Australia's Emily Gilnick has her shot saved. By the time Ingrid Engines stepped up for Norway's fourth kick, the writing was totally on the wall. She side-footed it into the bottom corner with just incredible composure. 4-1, that was the final shootout tally. Despite Australia's genuinely heroic battling performance, while down a player for that entire final half hour, it was Norway's clinical execution from the spot that ultimately cemented their hard-fought victory and secured their advancement to the World Cup quarterfinals. So, Norway survived the tactical chaos of the round of 16. They utilized every single ounce of their structure, their adaptability, and their nerve. But it leaves us with a massive question as we wrap up this explainer. Can this incredibly physical, high-wire play style carry them all the way to the World Cup final? Or will the sheer exhaustion of matches like this one eventually catch up with them against fresher opponents? It is a fascinating tactical thread to follow as the tournament progresses. Thanks so much for joining me for this breakdown. Keep analyzing, and I'll catch you next time.